Okay.
And Roanoke was a character that Jen played in Out of the Abyss, and I think we played for about 9 months in the
Yes.
campaign.
Yes.
So
I think
tell me
we
just
know that.
the basic about her, like her race, class, level, like what all that was like.
Well, Roanoke was she's an air genasi, or genasi, or however it's pronounced,
Yeah.
because like I said, novice. She was started out as a rogue and then multi-classed into a fighter. And then my son came up with this amazing like opportunity to add in Air Guardian, which was fantastic. I mean,
Cool.
I told him, I was like, you got to put this up on D&D Beyond because it's so good. Um, and then, so I think we got to level, I don't remember what level we ended up
I want to say
at. It was like
14. I think it
13,
was,
14,
yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I mean, mainly Rogue, like 8 levels in Rogue, and then 3 levels in Fighter, and no, or 4, no, 9 levels in Rogue, 3 levels in Fighter, and 1 level in Air Guardian, or something like that. It was something like that. I think it
Okay.
ended up
Yeah.
close to that. Yeah. Um,
Well, actually, tell me about the Air Guardian because that's very unique.
oh my
How did
gosh,
that
it
work
was
out?
really fantastic. My son Jackson he plays with us, and he has this amazing ability to just research like nobody I've ever known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what first inspired you to play Roanoke? Like, what was the spark of creativity that generated her?
Um, I really love the idea of playing a rogue because I wanted to be sneaky. I wanted to
Mhm.
be sneaky and steal things because like that's not me. I'm not one for like, I'm just
So
not.
we would think, but if your
That's
sleight of hand is good,
okay.
yeah, if your sleight of hand is good, no one ever knows, right?
Exactly. Like, it wasn't an easy thing. It wasn't like I picked something, oh, I'm going to be a fighter because all I have to do is like beat things up, but being a rogue, like you really have to have this like thought process of details that are going on around you, like seeing the things and how can you utilize them and how can you get around all the people and all the environment stuff to get what your ultimate goal is. Like it was a challenge. I was like, this is exciting to me. I didn't really play. I played her more on the good aspect, like a Robin Hood, but also for her benefit.
Yeah.
Not evil in nature. It was real. I mean, we have autism in my home,
Mhm.
and communication is a significant like difficulty with all of us. Like as a parent, like learning how to effectively communicate with my son who struggles with it, his own communication with his peers or with us. My husband is the same, and then us wanting to like really kind of find that even ground of communication, finding opportunities to practice ways to communicate is hard. You're just kind of thrown into it and you just have to communicate. So the idea of having a safe place and a safe type of environment to practice types of communication in an acting way, like you
Yeah.
really were kind of acting, where you really were forced to um, different types of communication, whether it be like in like campfire type situation where it's relaxed and you're just kind of like letting things flow, or you're in combat and you have to like communicate effectively or things are not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then not even just communication between us, communication with like NPCs and the dungeon master and like how things are going. It was like this multicolored blanket of communication, which I thought was so very needed by us. And so that was my idea of going in, was communication, and then also practice of patience, like learning how not to talk over each other, learning when to be quiet and allow another person to kind of have their shining moment. And then like also practicing social emotional skills. How can you control your emotions, when to control your emotions, like these were all like practice scenarios that we took advantage of and that we continue
Wow.
to take advantage of. And so at first, like, I went into this, I was very closed off. And I really enjoyed Roanoke because she's a hoot, like she's funny, but she was really closed off at first because I was closed off. I was not sure how to play my character. I hadn't played Dungeons and Dragons for 20 plus years. So it was a very like jumping off a cliff type moment. And she really came across as being a really bossy chick at first, like Roanoke and her band of misfits, you know, like that's how it really was when it was really just myself, my husband, and my son playing. And then in that, my goals changed. And so from the beginning, my goals were very different, like very specific oriented. And then my goals for her changed. And it became more of a challenge to think beyond my personal and to really develop relationships as her with the other players, and then learning how to be a real team instead of like just me, the bossy chick, telling people what we're doing, or just do it and then they don't have a choice, you know. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then my husband was always like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, like that.
You know, I did notice that early on in the campaign, Roanoke just would do something and you have to get in line.
Yeah, like just follow me. That was how it was at the beginning.
Okay, well, that seems like, you know, and then we switched and the team got bigger, and there's always, you know, when you add new players to an existing campaign, that's always going to create a brand new dynamic, and you want to be careful with that. You want to make sure you make it as seamless as possible. You know, what kind of, you know, you as a player, like, how did you have to adjust, you know, considering that Roanoke was calling the shots beforehand? And I definitely witnessed Roanoke maybe not take a back seat, but maybe take more of a party seat.
Yeah.
So what was your thoughts behind that? And especially like how you used Roanoke to express that?
Well, at first, like at the beginning, like I said, she was very closed off. Like, you're part of my party. Like, you're here to assist me in my goals. But when we ended up expanding our team and we added 2 new players to the team, I saw it as an opportunity. Okay, we have one more team that was joining us. So we had 2 teams, and we had their parent that was joining us as well. And I was like, I could already see in that moment, I was starting to really kind of visualize and really kind of acknowledge how my character was coming across and how she was playing. And I was like, this is not good. It's not really that effective.
Yeah.
It's not as enjoyable for everybody else. And so I took this as an opportunity to like, okay, I need to step back. My goal at that point changed into the team mindset, and was like, I need to be more welcoming. I need to be more of a listener and really like take this as a backseat. Not so much that I just kind of like gave up or anything like that. It was more like, I need to really see this as not Roanoke's team of misfits and more like team Abyss. You know, we're going to like conquer this place together. And I think even when Yandler came in for the first time, when he introduced himself, I think that was the real turning point. I actually like was welcoming to him, and I said, hey, I had this little bit of a conversation type thing, which I had never done with anybody, NPCs or anything. Yeah. And it was like a turning point for her and for me. Like, I wanted her to be more. And in order for her to be more, I had to be more.
Oh my gosh.
So it awesome. was a real eye opener. And that is when I think the real change in maturity of my character really happened. So.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And that you didn't disappear in the background. You didn't become like, you allowed your character to evolve and morph and change. And really, I mean, that is, talk about communication studies and skills. I mean, that's life right there.
Yeah, it was.
We do not get to recreate our own little simulations over and over again. There's always dynamics that are changing. mostly everything's outside of our control, and now we have to adapt, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think if I had not, in reality, looking back, and I see how really tremendous that moment was, if I had not done that, or if I hadn't given that true openness of my character to this new character coming in, I don't think that us as a team would have been as effective, and I don't think we would have made the true partnership that I think we have today, even to the point of like them joining us again for this new campaign that we just
started. Yeah. And that's such a good point, because I think sometimes, you know, you hear the old adage, oh, this is what my character would do. And it's like, well, you are the one in charge of your character. That is the one thing you get to control in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So why would you make a character that does not meld well, that does not evolve and does not change? That's a fixed mindset.
Correct.
So, I mean, yeah, good job at like, you know, demonstrating how someone can become a round character. They can evolve and change and morph and adapt over time based on what the situation calls for.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's really good.
Awesome.
So, you know, with Roanoke, I think you kind of talked about this, but I do like to hear the beginning, the middle, and the end to show that, I mean, the characters are the Sojourners, the characters are really like the focal point of each story.
Yeah.
And so that's the exciting piece. And I hope, you know, when I see players do their homework and really work hard on the characters, I think that makes a great story. In the Dungeon Master, you know, I just almost set up the playground and watch the kids play and interact with each other. That brings my heart warmth, is when I see characters interacting with each other, which is, you know, my weekly challenge is, my weekly challenge this week is for, you know, do your homework and have your character ask one question to another character for the next session.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like, hey, where'd you learn that feature? How do you do your magic? Why do you pray to your God? Because that's character to character interaction, which is always more real than NPC to character interaction. Right?